EUIC is coming up, and we have a lot of work to do still. Let's check it out. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Drax_the_Max, and this is going to be another Pokemon TCG video. Recently, I put out a video that a friend of mine and myself have been working on for over a year now, and it's been off and on with me playing the deck. He's been playing it a lot more than I have, but generally we've been working on it together, passing ideas as such, right? Now, recently I took it to the Stuttgart Regionals, and we ended up at a 897th place with a 4-4 record. So pretty average, but did at least give us some points for that regional, which is nice. 20 points, I believe. And I just wanted to talk about the matchups real quick and what the decks looked like, etc. Now, my friend here, he only went 3-5, but to be fair, there's something I have to tell about my score still, but I'll get to that in a second. First, we'll check out his list real quick, what he went with, and then we'll check out mine, because we did not have the exact same 60. There were a couple of things that we didn't really agree on, and I mean, that's fine, right? That happens to any players. Even the Guardy players aren't really sure what they're supposed to be playing. But the main differences here were that he played an extra Hilda, and he had a Lucky Helmet and Bravery Charm. So he basically gave himself a little bit more options for some defensive plays with the Bravery Charm, so his things wouldn't be that easy to snipe on the bench. And the Lucky Helmet he put in there to actually have an answer to Badoo if he was out of cards and he just needed to draw some cards. He could put that on something, and if they want to Badoo, well, you're drawing 2 cards. That was basically the idea, right? The second Hilda, he thought it was better. Personally, I will show my list real quick. I played the Colress Tenacity instead of that. The reasoning being, I explained in the video previously, that you really want your stadiums against the Team Rocket's Watchtower. You need to find these things or you're just going to go down, because your whole engine relies on the Dunsparce and the Snorlax, right? So, and even Fan Rotom, because getting Watchtower on turn 1 can basically mean game over if you just have a Fan Rotom in play. So that's why I actually opted to go for the Colress Tenacity. Also, Colress Tenacity can actually get you a basic Pokemon. So with the help of Artisan, that is, of course. So it's, it has some more flexibility than the Hilda does, in my opinion. Also, it can get you a tool if you don't have the Town Store in play yet. I personally liked Colress Tenacity better. He was more a fan of Hilda. I also went for 2 XP Share and a Vitality Band instead of the Bravery Charm and the Lucky Charm, or whatever it's called, that draws 2 cards. I forget the name. But I'm a big fan of the XP Share here for sure. The Vitality Band was a hit or miss card. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted this for, or if I actually needed it. Turns out I actually did, but I'll get back to that in a second. Overall, the deck did run pretty smoothly. What do you want for $28 on TCG Player, right? I mean, you could probably pick this up for a couple of bucks, to be honest, and it's a load of fun to play, and it can be really strong. If you just pull the cards when you need them, it definitely can win tournaments. My friend actually won the League Challenge locally this Saturday, went 4-0, so it's definitely possible, right? So let's go into the matches real quick and see what they were. Now, my first opponent, Salvatore here, he was playing Alakazam to Dunsparce. I had actually had a lot of practice on ladder against the deck because, well, if you've been playing Alive, you probably have noticed that this deck is there a lot. At least before Stuttgart, it was there a lot. And I knew that here my Fan Rotom was going to be an MVP because he can take out multiple prizes, and if they don't really set up by the time that you've taken a couple of prizes, you're never really losing that prize race, especially because it doesn't really take you that much to knock out their Alakazam. It's only like 2 tools, I guess, right? Because of the weakness. And yeah, even the smaller things are even easier to kill. Now, something that came up in this matchup specifically was actually this Vitality Band, where my opponent at a certain point, I think I already took 2 prizes. He pushed up a Kadabra and went for the Super Psy Bolt, right? And passed the turn. And I just went Vitality Band and knocked it out. And you could see that he knew that he was defeated at that point. When he saw the Vitality Band, it was just GG. And he was probably thinking to himself, what am I playing against, right? The second game, I believe he didn't really go too fast. He kind of bricked. He didn't really brick, but he didn't really find the pieces to make enough attackers. And I was just bossing stuff up and killing stuff. And yeah, it was just a clean 2-0 there. He wished me well on the rest of the tournament, and I did as well, and we went on our way. He actually went on to a 8-4-2 spree. That was my best opponent, actually. So yeah, respect to Salvatore there. That's really nice. Then my second opponent, Fabio, also a really cool guy. It says here he was playing Mega Lopunny. I would actually say he wasn't playing Mega Lopunny, but he was actually playing Yanmega EX, because, well, that's basically what this deck is, right? It's Yanmega EX with to charge up the Mega Kangaskans and have the Bouffalants. It was a Mega Kangaskhan Bouffalon deck that got charged by Yanmega EX, more or less. Now, typically, this is not the worst matchup for us. You might think it is, because 360 damage or even 410 can be relatively hard to hit, but we're able to do that, right? We're able to do that. We're definitely able to get the 330 here, same as knocking out a Charizard or a Dragapult for us. So I felt really confident in this matchup. However, both games I lost were due to this Airy right here. He Airied me both times on the exact moment that I was actually holding my Super Rod, and it's the only Super Rod in the deck. I pulled an Arven after that and couldn't get my attack off anymore because my dudes and my energy, or one of the two, was prized and or in my discard, and I just basically lost on the spot there, which got me thinking again, because I'm not the biggest fan of Lana's Aid. My friend is a really big fan of this card, and he puts it in a lot of his decks. I'm more a fan of the Super Rod. I know it's susceptible to item lock, but sometimes Lana's better, sometimes Super Rod's better. In this matchup specifically, I would have rather had the Super Rod, because I think I would have had a chance to actually win the game, or at least tie it up here. But oh well. Both games, Airy wrecked me, and yeah, that was that, really. Again, it's not like super easy for us to hit 360 HP either. Like, we do need 8 tools for that, and that is a lot. Or we need to hit it twice, and you know, he just has to hit us once and we die. So it's definitely harder for us to set up an attacker than it was for this guy, but nonetheless, I felt like there was a chance in this matchup, but I just couldn't get there. Third round, I play against Alan here with the Charizard Pidgeot deck, also a very nice opponent. First game, he struggles to set up while I just do my Fan Rotom stuff. And again, one of the reasons why I loved playing the deck in the first place was because Fan Rotom, if you can get that off and you can start working with your Dunsparces, you have a really good shot at winning the game, because you just snowball out of control, really. And you could see this in basically both games here, where I pretty easily take out his Pidgeot with a boss pretty early. I believe in the first game he doesn't even get a Charizard off before he dies already, and in the second game I'm able to kill his Pidgeot and afterwards even kill his Charizard, which he thought I wasn't going to be able to do, but I showed him all the tricks our deck actually has. And yeah, he was a really cool guy. I told him about the deck and what our goals were for the channel, right? So I'm sure he probably checked it out later. Fourth round, I played against Pablo from Mexico. That was pretty cool to see a Mexican. I used to live in California myself, so it's pretty close to the border there. And he was playing Grimmsnarl Frostless. Now, I've won the matchup with this deck, but it's probably like a 30-70. Like they have to have the worst imaginable hand possible to actually win that matchup, because their Monkey Dories, their Frostlasses, and their big attacker, they're all pretty big threats for our deck, and there's just not much we can do against the matchup. And yeah, that was a pretty clean 0-2 for Pablo there, so not much to say. So round 5, we go into a 2-2, which is not great. We need to win the next one. Well, we need to win all the next ones to actually have a chance to day 2 from here on. And I read my paper, or my phone, and it says Alessandro Cremascoli. And I mean, I know who that guy is, and I'm a big fan. You know, you can find him on YouTube as well. He's iCaterpie. He's been playing the Pokemon TCG for, I believe, like 20 years now, or however long the TCG exists. I'm pretty sure he's been playing the game for that long. He's one of the control kings out there, right? You have a couple of big names in the control world, and he is one of those guys. Now, I was kind of hoping he was playing control, because I had a feeling that against control, I had a shot, right? However, he was playing Zorok. Now, when I saw that, I was definitely scared because this is also not the best matchup. It's also one that you don't often face, okay? So it would depend if this guy was running the Darmanitan, but he clearly was. He had a 2-2 line, and he even had the Binary going for him. But to be honest, he never even needed any of those because my deck bricked twice. I told him that I was a big fan before we started and that I was hoping I could show off the deck a little bit to him because I told him our plan. I said, playing something spicy today and hopefully it's going to do something. But 2 games against him just mega bricked, both games. And like, it wasn't even anything that he did. Like, he just played Pokemon and knocked them out with Zorok, with En's Reshiram on the bench. Like, nothing spectacular happened. No boss's orders that were meaningful. No Ionos that were meaningful. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything. He just basically got a free win because my deck didn't do anything. So that was unfortunate because, again, I really wanted to show him the deck because I was, you know, we're a little bit proud about the deck, how it turned out, and we have a couple of fans out there who have been enjoying the deck as well. So I wanted to make him a fan too, but unfortunately I couldn't show him anything. He did go over the deck a little bit with me after the well, can't really call them games, but the games, I guess, that we had. And he told me that he didn't really like the Dunsparce line in our deck. Now, at the time, I was kind of, you know, surprised because I felt like this was one of the reasons why this deck was so good was because, well, we could fan Rotom and, you know, set this all up. And afterwards with Hilda Colress, find the enriching to do the combos or get the jet energy so they can never really get us stuck in the active. One of the reasons, of course, why I kind of wished he was playing control because we do have an out to that. We can just infinitely loop the jet energies with this list. But yeah, he was just not a big fan of the Dunsparce here. And I asked him, well, what would you put in there? Like, would you try Pidgeot? And he said, yeah, maybe Pidgeot. But then cards could be an issue, I guess, because you do need a lot of cards for this deck to work. So he didn't know for sure either. But he was just not a big fan of the Dunsparce. And I did take that into account going further, okay? So round 6, we are 2-3 now. The morale has fallen finally because we do know that there's no day 2 for us. So now we're just trying to pick up some points here and, you know, try to at least give the deck a little bit of a push, right? And I come and face a guy, Xavier from France, and he is playing Dragapult, which I would say is typically our worst nightmare. Really the worst deck to face with this deck because they have multiple ways to be annoying, right? They have the Dust Noirs. The Dragapult's attack is really annoying because it just puts 6 damage counters on everything, so you can't even really put a Fez down because they boss that up. When it has 1 damage counter on it, they knock that out for 2 prizes while maybe taking out something else. I don't have to explain how Dragapult works, but it's just really bad for a deck, okay? I mean, I can show you our list again if you want. They 1-hit KO this. They 1-hit KO this if they already put some damage counters on it. We have these guys that they can just take out with 1 shot as well, which is why most run the 70 HP ones and not the 60, but I really loved the free retreat that these had. If you want to be safe, you probably should only run 1 that has a free retreat though. But yeah, just a lot of little dudes and they can just pop them whenever they feel like it, right? And yeah, really annoying. However, as you can see, we won this, and I won this actually 2-0. Now, how did that go? Well, the first game was basically just a matter of fan Rotom in the active, and my opponent just slowly doing an item lock with the Badoo and trying to work from there, right? So my opponent was taking it very, very slow. He was just item locking me. I knock out the Badoo. He gets the Badoo back. He plays the Badoo. He item locks me again, and he's just building up his hand, his board, and we don't play Ionos in this version, so I know that I'm kind of cooked if this goes too long, right? So I'm just taking out Badoo, Badoo, Badoo. I take out 3 Badoos, take out another prize, and this is the big turn right here. This is the turn where my opponent goes Iono me to 2, and then he takes out a couple of Pokemon, but I still have 1 attacker, and I still have the Snorlax on my bench with the 2 leftovers in my discard pile. So Iono to 2. I draw my cards from the Iono, and I see that one of them is another leftover, so another tool. The other card, I don't remember what it was, but the next card was an Arven. So top deck Arven lets me get the TM Machine an extra tool, so that's 4 tools, 2 from the discard, 1 from the draw from Iono, and I'm able to one-hit KO that Dragapult off of Iono to 2, which was kind of felt like I was playing Goldango at that point, because we've all seen that happen, right? But now it was just like the Goldango at home, and yeah, we bodied that Dragapult, 350 damage onto game 2. Game 2 was nothing similar. It was actually him not really setting up very well, and I just getting a very aggressive start with some boss's orders on his Dracloaks, taking him out with leftovers that I was just getting back from the discard pile the whole time, and I just cleaned that up relatively easily, and there wasn't much that my opponent could do, and we still had 10 minutes on the clock, so it was a quick bathroom break, basically. To me, that was the biggest achievement of the day, because, again, Dragapult is literally the worst matchup of this deck, and being able to 2-0 that was really, really nice for me. I would say that Charizard is probably also up there with one of the worst matchups, and we ended up 2-0ing them as well. But then against the Yon Mega deck, should have probably won that. But again, the Airy there was very, very clutch at that point. So then round 7, we face Alex Bonetti with Gardevoir. Well, actually, I say this, we face him, but we never faced this man. I did not see him. He did not show up to the table, so we got a free win here. That's why I said my friend went 3-5, I went 4-4, but I did get a free win off of this Sir right here. So Alex Bonetti, thank you for the 20 points, I guess, because Guardy is, in my opinion, not the easiest matchup. Like, Gardevoir can win against anything. If they set up a board with enough Monkey Dories, they can just blow everything up every turn if they want to, and just item lock you and be very annoying, right? I don't have to explain. We all know what Guardy is as well. Guardy and Dragapult, 2 of the best decks in the format, and yeah, I'm not unhappy that I didn't have to actually face this guy, but in general, the matchup isn't that difficult if we can set up decently, and normally that is the case with this deck. So if we can actually set up and we can get some, you know, Dunsparce on the bench going or something, so that if we get Iono'd, we can actually draw more cards and we can maintain a Snorlax and 1 or 2 attackers, we're usually in a good spot. Also, if we can AO a Ralts with a Fan Rotom early on, that definitely helps. So it's I would say it's probably like a 50-50, because just for the fact that, you know, our main attacker really easily kills a Gardevoir, right? We only need 4 tools for that, or 3 tools with a Vitality Band on him. Another way you can do it. But yeah, we just got the free dub there, so that's that. And then the last opponent, Arthur here, also from France, was actually a buddy of Alan. And when he saw the cards I was playing, he was like, "Hey, did you play a Charizard earlier?" I was like, "Yes." "Oh, yeah, I know what deck you're playing. You played my friend," he said. So he already knew what was going on, and when I saw the Greninja, I kind of knew what time it was too, because Greninja might actually be the worst matchup of this deck. I thought it was Dragapult. I didn't think about Greninja because I don't see it, or at least didn't see it that often. And once we were playing, it was pretty obvious that this is a horrendous matchup. If you don't know what Greninja does, he has the attack here, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Well, if you look at our deck list, our main attacker has 120 HP and is even weak to fighting. So even if it had 130 and was in the active, he would still get knocked out. Also, Pheasantipede is another one who they can just boss up, use that attack on, and do 240 and get something off the bench. So take 3 prizes in 1 turn with that attack. They also have Dusknoirs and everything. They have the whole shebang that our deck here is not really equipped for, right? There's no real good for us to handle that matchup at all. And yeah, it was just I believe it was a pretty quick 2-0 there for my opponent. And yeah, that was my run. So basically I went 3-4 and got 1 free win, but we'll keep it at a 4-4 and imagine that I had a good time against this Gardevoir, right? And yeah, hopefully we can get some better results at EUIC. Now, that was a pretty long introduction to what I did in Stuttgart. I did want to tell you guys what we've been up to, how we've been trying to improve this deck for EUIC. So here we are live, and don't mind my rank here. I've been playing a lot of troll decks, and actually Chuck Norris was not one of them. I've been playing all kinds of fun decks, really. But I will show you guys some decks that we have been trying to build, trying to work out. Now, the 2026 one is the one that my buddy just took to the challenge and won the challenge with. I'm going to reveal that one as last, because we will be trying to play a game or 2 with that deck. But I want to show you what other things that we have been considering, or at least I have been considering. Maybe first what my friend has been playing a little bit on the side as well. So one of the ideas was that we actually play an N-Zoroark package, as you can see right here. And one of the advantages of having a N-Zoroark package is that if you have it together with the Snorlax, you can keep on getting the leftovers back and tossing that. So you're effectively just getting a draw 2 off of your N-Zoroark, right? Also, you have a backup attacker this way that also requires dark energy. Also makes the Dragapult matchup a little bit better because they can't just phantom dive into your N-Zoroark, or they will possibly get knocked out by Zoroark's, or actually by the powerful rage, right? So they need some kind of Dusknoir shenanigans going on to actually take out your N-Zoroark. Makes it a lot harder for them for sure. This is a list that he was playing with the N-Zoroark. Pretty similar, but we just kind of take out the other engine. Also, an extra Prime Catcher to get unstuck or to target up other Pokemon that we want. So 5 Gust options in Counter Catcher, Prime Catcher, Boss's Orders. And he actually had some success with this list. I really failed to play this list at all times. I have no idea how he got it to work, because I felt like every time that I put an energy on anything, that thing got targeted down, and I just couldn't keep up with placing energy usually. So also the 2-2 line often felt kind of clunky in here for some reason. I don't know. Like sometimes I would like find these two and I wouldn't find my Garbodors or Trebuchets or stuff like that. And my turn ones felt very, very weak at times. And yeah, I personally was not a big fan of this list. I did keep it in here because obviously we need to see what we tested, and we need to go back to lists and see why we don't play those lists anymore, etc. Right? One of my ideas was to keep the Fan Rotom idea, because I really like the Fan Rotom. Although that Watchtower is a real card right now, I did want to try a Doduo list or Dodrio list that has the zooming draw, because I played a lot of GLC, and in GLC it's kind of a nutty thing to do a Fan Rotom turn 1 and then go get a double Doduo with a Dodrio, because it basically sets up a draw engine for your next turn, right? Not only that, but for the late game, this guy actually one-shots a lot of stuff. But to be able to play something like that, having, you know, a very bad matchup against something like, well, Monkey Dories in general and stuff like Dragapult, this did require me to play Battle Cage in here and try and stop that a little bit. The list is a little different though. We don't play the Enriching Energy in this because obviously we can't shuffle it back like the Dunsparce can, but we still do have the Jet Energies to push up some Fan Rotoms early on to take some free prizes or things like that, right? Or even push up a Dodrio in the late game can be handy. Or if we have the Ursa Luna stuck in the active from taking a KO, we still have the option to get something else in the active and retreat, go back to Ursa Luna and knock out whatever we want to. This also runs the Prime Catcher here, so this is another list that does that. Other than that, I think the list looks very similar to the Dunsparce one. This felt a little clunkier. The problem is you're not drawing as many cards as with the Dunsparce line, right? So also the energy helps a lot to draw extra cards. It basically turns your Hilda and your Colress Tenacity into draw 4 if you ever need that, and this list doesn't have that, right? So you have better gusting options to take small prizes and stuff in the early game with Dodrios and Fan Rotoms, but your late game is definitely worse, and it's harder to get the pieces of the puzzle together to take big knockouts with this list, I feel like. So nevertheless, it was one of the things that we tested, or at least I tested. I kind of put it aside for the moment. Definitely because of all the Watchtowers running around. Then another idea that we had was running a control kind of package with a Pidgeot EX. Now I say control, it's not that much control really. It's more that you actually have control of what you're doing yourself. It's not trying to control the opponent necessarily, but it's more or less having a Pidgeot, trying to get a Pidgeot in play and, you know, finding the pieces that you need at the right points in time. As you can see, this one's playing the Precious Trolley. Might be overkill with the Fan Rotom. I'm not completely sure. I think like some games it went really well and it felt like you couldn't even lose a single game. But the problem with this list specifically is that there's a 1/1 Benario Lopunny here, and starting with that is not great if you're trying to be a one prize deck, right? Also, sometimes just Rising Pidgeotto or Pidgeot EX is horrible for the deck. The one rare candy is often a dead card in this deck if you already played it as a Pidgeotto. You could opt to just not play Pidgeotto, I guess, but in a deck where you're running 3 TM Evos, it seemed pretty normal for me to actually run the Pidgeotto, because even if you don't like TM Evo turn 1, you can still play Pidgeotto perhaps on your second turn if you got it off the Phantom Rotom, and then TM Evo into Pidgeot so that your next turn you actually have the Pidgeot to search out stuff, right? Overall, this felt like it had potential to me. Only the Baneri and the Lopunny is kind of iffy. I'm not completely sold on that. Maybe it just has to be another Pidgeot and another Pidgey or something, or just another Pidgeot and some more supporters or something going for it. I'm not completely sure, but it did feel a lot better than Ends, and it did feel a lot better than the Chuck Dodoris, I call it here, with the Dodrios. So that was my Garbo control list. I don't know why I call it control. Again, it's not really control, but things with Pidgeot in it kind of feel that way, I guess. I think I had some more control elements in there at first, and I just took them out, so I kept the name or something. Nonetheless, I had another idea after that, which was instead of going for the Pidgeot, maybe trying some Owls instead with a Terapagos to have a backup attacker there instead of the 1-1 line here, and trying to set up, you know, Noctowls that way and trying to get your pieces that way. This actually had some good success as well, but I didn't play enough games with this to actually know if it's viable or not. Probably kind of want some XP shares in here, and maybe the Ditto isn't good enough. Maybe a 3-3 Noctowl line is a little too thick for the deck, because I could imagine if you prize any of these or 2 of the Terapagos here, this deck is immediately cooked, right? You lose out on an attacker and there's 6 dead cards in your deck. So I could see that being a massive problem with a deck like this. So maybe this has to be a 2-2 rather, and or maybe like a 2-3. I'm not completely sure. But the idea is there, and you know, you can always adjust these lists how you prefer them. I do think I would try and chuck in a XP share in there somewhere, because it can be really handy. Also, this list specifically is really, really bad against a Watchtower, because we only play 1 Town Store here. So this is just ignoring Town Store altogether. I think that was one of the problems with the deck when I was playing it. I was facing even Gardevoirs with Watchtower and stuff, and yeah, they just cook you when that happens. So this list isn't really like better than the Dunsparce. I would say it's just different, right? And then we get to our last and definitely not least list of 2026, and this is the list that won the challenge on Saturday. And the idea here was play a deck that basically doesn't really run any support Pokemon other than Tatsugiri. So Tatsugiri is your support Pokemon, and we're running 14 supporters in here to go along with that Tatsugiri. We're running the Precious Trolley in here because you just want to set up, right? And we're also running the Bidoof as well to buy us some time to set up. I played against this in my first round with Gardevoir. I lost the matchup, but I gotta say, I think I would have won if it didn't take me until my 5th turn to actually find a supporter card with the Gardevoir deck. So I'm gonna need to test that matchup some more. Maybe in the ladder we'll hit one, but it is definitely an interesting way to play the deck, I think. Yeah, having Tatsugiri as an option to pivot to, especially with the P.E.K.K.A runs, so that you don't really get yourself trapped. There's also an air balloon if you would really need it to get your Tatsugiri out of there. But yeah, it's an interesting take for sure, and I want to definitely try it out today. Now, something that I have been doing lately, I don't know if I adjusted this in my other lists, is I've actually been, let me do that right now. I've been liking a 2 Devo, 4 Evo a little bit more than the 3-3 split. And the reason is very simple. If you don't really play against any evolution decks, the Devo does nothing, while having Evo in your starting hand is just really, really good for this deck. So having 4 of them, plus the Arvins, plus the Town Store, really makes sure that you're probably doing an evolution turn relatively fast. So, and 2 Devo is still plenty. If you have Town Store, you have Arvin, you have 3 TM machines in here. There's plenty of ways to find at least 1 devolution, right? If they both are prized, well, so be it. But I think I'd rather have more outs to the evolution early on than to the devolution, right? Personally, I have not used devolution that often, so yeah, there's that. Other than that, I think the list is probably pretty good. We are not susceptible to the watchtower as hard anymore. Only our Snorlax gets hit by it, but that's fine. Typically, Snorlax is not necessary for us to actually take KOs. It's just handy, right? Especially if we have to hit the 350. It could be really nice if there's already a couple of leftovers in the discard pile for us to use with the Snorlax. But I'm pretty eager to test this deck out and see how it runs. So yeah, those were all the Chuck Snorris decks that we've been working on. Now let's see if we can actually get a game or 2 in on the ladder and see how it rolls. If there's anything you want to know about the deck or you have any comments about it, please leave them down in the comments and me and my friend will definitely try and answer them as good as possible. So we get the heads. We do not want to go first. We definitely want to go second. Okay. This hand is... This hand is good if we can actually find energy. For that reason, I'm going to push the Pecorant here. I know it's a 2-prizer, but if we do find an energy here, we can at least just immediately go into TM Evo 2 Garbodors and go from there. I could opt to just go Trubbish here and some other type of shenanigans, but looks like they're going to be playing their own 2-prizer here that is a liability for them, so we'll see. Typically, this should be a very decent matchup for us because, I mean, we need 6 tools to knock out an Armor Rouge, but we don't need that many to knock out Squawk ability, right? So in this position, I'm pretty sure they don't play Ionos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all these out of the deck so that we don't draw into them. And not sure now what to do, if we pass or not. It's maybe not bad for me to do this, since we don't mind that being in the discard pile. If they do take the knockout here at least, which I figure they will probably have. Maybe not. They are loading up energy here. Alright, so they don't have it yet. Interesting. But we are grabbing all the tools out of our deck right now, so we're not doing much better, to be honest. So both parties bricking a little here. That's fine. As long as I don't like draw what's it called? Iono myself. That'd be pretty bad for us here, but okay, they're gonna boss up that, sure. I don't know if that really matters that much, but the jamming tower is a little annoying. Yeah, I'm just attaching here and then I'll pass. Yeah, this is a very, very slow start. We have 14 supporters in our deck, and we have drawn almost every single tool that we have. That's kind of nuts. Not gonna lie. It happens, I guess, right? Yep. It's another 60. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is one of those games where it's just like, okay, you're playing so many tools. It's bound to happen that you're going to draw all these tools, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. So I guess I just drool here and see what happens. But yikes, my man. This is not great. Yeah, they get to do some stuff here. They Carmine. Okay, so they're going here. They have some stuff to do. They found a Lunatone. That's not good for us. And there's going to be the knockout. That's unfortunate. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the discard here. And 3 in the actives, or 1 in the active and 2 on the bench. This means there is still about 10 in the deck, I would assume. So we can try and do this for now and then just end the turn. It's kind of crazy that our whole hand is just tools right now. I don't think I've ever even seen a game like this before where my whole hand is tools. It's kind of silly. Yep, 210. You got it. Okay. The leftovers is in the discard. That's good. Yikes, dude. Yikes, yikes, yikes. I mean, do I even want a Super Rod here? Probably not. I don't mind this in the discard, though, because if I do find Iono in my next turn, for instance, I do want something in the discard, right? So that I can actually Snorlax it back. But it looks like we're just going to lose this one. Not even because of the jamming tower. I guess we get a Trubbish back here, and then we pass. But we didn't get to see a single supporter, so that's unfortunate, right? This feels like my Gardevoir match I had against Garbodor on Saturday. I basically didn't see a supporter until I only had, or my opponent only had 3 prizes left, so yeah. Well, 3 prizes left and 3 attackers set up. 3 Garbodor set up. So, well, that is Lilies. So we're not completely dead, I guess. Now the question is, what do we get back here? Maybe the Petch. Is there anything I can do here to disturb them a little bit? I don't even know. Probably not. We'll see what happens here. They have so many cards here. No, I don't even draw it, so it's good. All right, you got it. For those who were wondering, I actually got up to 1600 using Garbodor previous season. So heading into Stuttgart, I had a pretty good idea about the meta and stuff. But you do see a lot of jamming towers, and you do see a lot of watchtowers these days. A lot of hate cards, and they just happen to hit our deck as well, right? It's not even something they're trying to hit, but just happens to be that way for us. So here we have Lana's Aid and Boss's Orders. Not really the supporters that we're looking for at all, but we do get an extra card. It's going to be leftovers. Also nothing that we really need here. Let's see. We do get Tatsugiri. That is nice. Let's see. Probably want to hold on to this Nest Ball, though. Because, yeah, there's no real reason to play out this Nest Ball yet, I don't think. I could get it preemptively to try and get out a Pekkarunt, but I think I'm going to wait here just to increase the odds that I'm able to get out of this position. Starting Snorlax is one of the worst things, obviously, so... And that's where, like, the original version was a little better, where a Nest Ball would get you Fan Rotom, and then with the Fan Rotom, you could obviously start setting up your Dunsparce, and typically you could get there from that position, but yeah, looks like we're just breaking again. So I don't know how my friend always does it, man. I really don't. Like Lana's 8 here, that's one of those cards I mean, this would have been a Night Stretcher or a Super Rod in my deck, so it doesn't really matter in this scenario, but to me, this is what happens when I play Lana's 8. It just sits here in my hand, doing nothing for the entire game. I usually end up tossing it away with an Ultra Ball, because I just never need it when, you know, when I have it in hand, so... Alright, speaking of Ultra Ball, here we go. Now we got something going. I mean, we have something going. It's not much, but we can start using Tatsugiri now. So let's do this one first. We will... Never mind. I was thinking maybe we can actually get the Pekarunt, push up a Trubbish, and retreat it. But feels like that's not going to happen here. So let's do this. Maybe hold on to those. Like so. Then throw away leftovers, one of the TM Evos. And we can get another Trubbish, I guess. And because we don't have any way to get this in the active, I guess we pass. I could do this preemptively, though. Maybe they are going to Iono me or something. Not sure that's correct. Maybe I wanted to keep it, but... Alright, there's an energy. That's good. At least we can now... do the evolution. I didn't even check if we actually had those, so you should do that before you do this, but... I was just hoping that we had them, and worked out for us, so that's lucky. Now we can actually just go like turbo energize here as well, get the energies out, and just, you know, work from there. But it's not great. It's definitely not great what we're working with here. Well, I mean, there's a trolley. Maybe something like that. I don't see Badoo doing anything here anymore, so might as well do this. Turbo energize. Get out energy here, put it there and there. Right. And now it's kind of just played a waiting game. Yeah. We can ever find an Arven, we can... no, I was going to say we can actually... Prime Catcher, but this list doesn't run that anymore, so... Yeah, we're just passing at this point. See, this is another one of those things. Like, what do you do when your Peck is prized? It's like, how do you get your Snorlax out of the active? I think my buddy is always lucky with these kind of things, and it just never happens or something. Yeah, we're just sitting here, and we're stuck, right? Kind of silly, actually. All right, something's gonna happen here, boys. Looks like our Zard is, oh no, our Dusknoir is gonna get some action. This is really good for us though, because if they actually take out an attacker, it means that we possibly get our Peck out of the prizes. Also, we do get Fez draw now, so nope, we get a Turbo Energize. That's unfortunate. but it's okay. So we got 3 TMs in the discard, means we have 5 left. There's another tool here. So 5 plus 4. We still have 9 tools to knock out a Charizard. But knocking out 2 is already going to be somewhat of a problem here, probably. So yeah, I don't know about this game right here. Might also already be a loss, to be honest. Pretty unfortunate. Well, that's another energy. We can Lana's Aid here to get everything back. We can definitely Fez still. And I guess I can put the leftovers on him. I don't think I'm going to be using any of the TMs anymore, so yeah. We'll just threaten the attack with the Snorlax here, because it can actually take out like Dusknoirs and stuff, or Tatsugiri, so... And it looks like they're going to be playing slow here. Which is interesting. Because, like, I definitely don't mind just bossing up a Dusknoir here and just killing that. I don't really need this stadium either. Iono, okay. So I guess we're not bossing up anything. We do have Town Store now. And a Vessel, so that's pretty helpful. First Blast. Alright. Looks like my opponent is also kind of looking for the pieces here. We can use Mezagoza to try and find our Ionoed Garbodor here. So we can establish that again. We can also get a... No, we can't. I want to say we can get an apple back from the discard, but we can't. So... we Mezagoza first, I think. There's a Lilies. That's also pretty helpful. We hit the heads here. We do not. That's fine. We go Town Store. We will go to Town Store. We will get ourselves a leftovers. This guy is not candied. No. Okay. Making sure so that TM Devo is not useful here. I don't want to... Yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be doing Lilies anyway, right? But we can't actually take out this guy. I'm thinking we might be better off using Fez here first to try and find a boss. Because in that case, we could actually combustion this down. And if he goes Candy into Zard on this thing, we have to TM Devo for that. I don't know if that's correct or not. I'm also thinking that I might have to put down Badoo here. So let's flip first. We didn't find it. So let's see. Do we actually even want to do a Lilies here? Question. Actually, if we Arven, we can go Apple and Ultra Ball. We can use the ability here, get the leftover back, and then we can Ultra Ball the leftovers away, get ourselves the Garbodor, evolve that guy, and then we can just take out this Charmander. It's not the best, but it does set us up a little bit here, I guess, right? And now that we have Tatsugiri and Fez and Badoo, we do have some options. So, yeah, hopefully they don't just find the 4 prizes they need to take here. But I highly doubt it. There's also a Fez on the bench now. That's not unimportant. They don't want to take out my Fez. Seems good. I don't know what that was. It's probably a Charizard. Chiyu. Okay, so only one in the bin. Only one energy in the bin. No Iono. That's nice. That means that we have Iono. They played around TM Devo pretty well here as well, so I don't think that's going to be an option in this game whatsoever. However, you might get something like a Iono counter catcher onto Fez and Badoo it and hope that they can't get out of it that way. But with the Pidgeot, it seems highly unlikely that they wouldn't be able to get out of it. So he's tossing rare candy. So you have another candy, my guy? I guess so, yeah. Yeah. When they get their Dusknoids going and we give them this much time, it's probably a given that we're not going to win this one. I'm really not even sure what we do in this position. I don't think there is much we can do, to be honest. Yep. All right, so we have the Tatsu. We should definitely put down this and this. And I guess it's an Iono here and Pray. I don't really see a different option here. So Iono and hope for a counter catcher. That's not a counter catcher. So I think that's just GG right there. I did have counter catcher in here, right? I'm not just playing to an out that does not exist. No, it was still in there, but yeah. Not right there. They need 1 prize. Yeah, they got it. GG. So what I learned from this is that the Snorlaxes are just really a liability in this specific build. If your Pekarunt is prized, that is. But also the fact that you really need Pekarunt to get your Snorlax out of the active kind of sucks as well, right? So we'll do one more for good measure, and hopefully we can actually get a combo off here. Yeah, this practice session hasn't been very successful yet. Not very fruitful. My friend is like trying to convince me about this, but so far I haven't really seen it do much in these 2 last games. All right, this looks a little more promising. We got a Badoo start. For good measure, just gonna drop 1 Trubbish here so that we don't get donked or something like that. Okay, it's a grass deck. We're not gonna get donked. Yeah, this is a way better start, I would assume. Got a mulligan. We can even Arven if we want to. Eevee box, huh? Okay, I thought it was something else. Thought it was some kind of grass box, but it looks like it is going to be EV box. Let's Arvin. I'll get Tatsugiri, Etch, and Snorlax. I will put this up here. Actually, I should have done that differently. I should have gotten a free retreat. Push this up, retreat it to Tatsu. No, actually, that doesn't work right. No, it's fine. I wanted actually Itchy Pollen this turn, so it's fine. I do not want my opponent to be playing any items, so it's okay. That's a Flareon. That's pretty good, especially if you have the extra energy or the Crispin. That works as well. At least it's not a Wellspring Ogerpon. That would have been really bad for us. Not the end of the world. We probably would be able to knock it out on the return, but this doesn't really seem that great for them, though. What are they going to do? Charge up these owls? No, I guess they see that that's not really a good thing. All right. We have another energy. That's good. Let's see now. I think I do this. So if I get Arvin, I can do 250 damage. That's not enough. So Arvin isn't enough. So I guess I do this. Okay. That lets me evolve this one. Attract customers. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually get my leftovers here. And I should have checked what else was in my deck. That was not smart. I'm trying to figure out here if I actually want to go back into Badoo or not, but I don't think I can. So I'm just gonna do this. And change this up and pass the turn. I don't know, man. This already feels a lot more stuck, if that makes any sense. Feels like it's really hard to get the attacks off that you want. Well, now we draw the TM machine. All right, well, this is a little easier now. Push this guy up. Grab 2 from here. Grab another one from here. Like so. I need 6, right? Yeah, we need 6. Okay, so we do that, I guess. I don't think I'm gonna need any TM evolutions anymore. So, do I need Lana's 8 for anything? Not really. Do I need to Arvin for anything? Also, not really. So I guess we just do this and knock that Flareon out. puts us on even prizes here. As long as they don't go Wellspring, I think we're in a pretty good position. They do have the, what's it called again? Sparkling Crystal. So there's a world where they were just able to... Wait, what? Oh. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic, not... Well, this isn't a basic, though. So that doesn't really work, I'm afraid. We're also just going to do a Lano's Aid here so that we can just pick these guys back up. So I guess this is why my friend really likes this approach, because if you have a Trubbish on the bench, you can obviously just build one up immediately again. Just kind of good for obvious reasons. Actually, I should have pushed Tatsugiri and then I should have Pekka-runted here, but we have so many supporters in hand. I don't really need to do all that jazz, you know, so I'm not going to. We do want to optimize our attack here with the Snorlax, so push all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. Boom. Get rid of that one. And go down to 2 prizes. There's our Fez. And now it's just a matter of, can Tatsugiri find us the supporter after we get Iono this turn? Oh, I think this is just GG probably. Huh. Interesting. I guess I get Hilda here so that I can set up my next attacker, but it seems like we have everything that we need right now. Use Snorlax here. Get 2 apples, that's fine. I can do this and see what's in my deck because I haven't really been checking at all. There's one more tool, so we have 2 boss, counter catcher is never going to be useful here. 2 energy and a town store. Okay, that's fine. So, okay. Yeah, Iono to 1 would... Okay, there's an extra tool, that's good. Iono to 1 would be pretty bad for us, but we do have Tatsugiri. We're still doing a minimal of 150 damage here on anything because of the Snorlax and the town store in play. And if town store gets knocked, which it does, then it's just 100 damage, but we have 3 attackers left, so they're gonna have to pull a very big trick out of their hat here. That could be a big trick, but I think we just have a return KO if they go with this route. So there's the Iono. As we figured. There's a boss's orders. If they can't do the thing here, they're pretty much cooked. So yeah. We were bound to actually see a boss at some point because we hadn't really seen one yet. Yeah, there it is. GG, well played. There was even a Lilies if we really needed it, but all right, leftovers, boss up, this Bluetooth, and concedes. All right. Well, at least we got 1 win in, and I was able to show you the deck a little bit. Again, I'm going to be cooking this with my friend a little more and figure out some things, right? Because I'm currently not really a fan of having no real way to get the Snorlax out of the active. That is really painful, to be honest. I'm also really not sure what card could be played there to make that a little less of a problem. One of the things we could try is actually maybe run a Penny in the deck, because if we had a penny in a deck, for instance, you only need one Snorlax on the battlefield at a time to actually get back the 4 leftovers in the discard pile, because you could use the ability, penny it up, and then put it on your bench, use the ability again, get yourself the 4 leftovers, and that's maybe something that the opponent won't be thinking about, right? So we got to see how that works out. But yeah, this video was long enough, I'd say, over an hour of recording here already. So if you have any questions, any tips, any things you think we should be playing that we're not playing currently, of any of the lists, which one did you like the most? And yeah, hopefully you can have some fun with Chuck Norris on the ladder yourself. And if you do, definitely give the video a like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you in the near future. Peace.